Hey everyone, welcome. This is Irene CBiz Media, Faith, Love, and Trends. Welcome to another 90-day recap chat. This one is Single Life. We know 90 Day Fiancé is based off of a reality show. Couples, one person from the US, the other from another country. All the crazy dynamics that follow that type of situation. Well, this is all the leftover fragments of the couples that didn't work out, and they're trying to start again in the single life. I want to do something a little different this time. I'm going to talk briefly about the other couples, just do a quick recap, but I really want to talk about Liz and Via, her situation with cancer, and we haven't seen her tell them yet, but it's something that she's struggling with. But before we talk about that, let's go to Vanya and Tony. At the time, Vanya kisses Tony. This is one of her good friends. And he's like, I'm the type of guy that takes it slow. Vanya's all in, he's full speed ahead. And he just doesn't want the pressure of making a choice of whether he wants this to be a relationship or not. So he's like, okay, we can continue this process. She said, well, is this a date or we just hanging out? So finally, he kind of says it's a date. He said we can keep dating and see how things go, but I don't want to put any labels on it. And I don't really like the fact that somebody doesn't want to put a label on it. Now, if you do feel like you're being pressured and rushed, it's understandable. Somebody kissed you. The next minute, they want to know how you feel. It is kind of red flagish. He's kind of going slow about this. I understand if he's someone that moves slow in all his relationships, but if somebody feels you, they feel you. I mean, it's not it's not going to be something that you have to push someone into. So that alone looks like you probably need to move on, Vanya. He's kind of giving you the signs that he's not really up for it like that. And she said, if he doesn't make a decision at some point, she's going to have to move on. She can't waste any more time. Kimberly and Joe. Now, Kimberly is hanging out with her friends. They have like these little get-togethers, and it looks like they have like a beach party theme. They do the little limbo thing under the stick. I think I said that right. They also, have lays, and, they kind of make a little joke about putting the flower on. They call it a lay. The flower's on your neck. It's like a flower necklace in Hawaii. But she meets the guy, Joe, which one of her friends has really been telling her about. And as she's there, she's kind of reconnecting with everyone. She looks like she's having a great time. But she says she's going to have to kind of, at this point, put her family issues aside. The fact that she gave up 2 of her kids for adoption and her son had to find out in other ways. She's trying to reconnect, at least with the brother at this time. Don't know what's going on with the sister. So all that family drama, she's putting that to the side. She's open to dating and meeting new people and meeting this guy, Joe. She also talks about B, the guy she hooks up with randomly. She said he's always have a special place in her heart, but she needs something more stable. So this Joe guy, she said he's a little short, and she wasn't really sure about him for that reason. Height is not a good enough reason to not be sure about someone to me. You think you're gonna look weird walking around together. That looks is not really the thing. It's who the person is in their heart. So they kind of bond off of music. She's a big MJ fan, which I kind of forgot early on when she was talking about Usman when she dated him, that she was like a kind of a crazy Michael Jackson fan. And she kind of looks like she would be one of those people. But he's like does music and production and whatnot. So they really bond off of MJ. They have a good time together, and, they share a hug before they leave. And hopefully this turns into something. Of course, I think they exchange numbers as well. And they may do this again. He does seem like a really nice guy. He was all smiles the whole time. So hopefully this is what Kimberly needs. She says he complimented her. He made her feel safe. All the things she didn't feel in most of her relationships. So sounds like a good guy. Gino and Natalie. So Natalie ends up taking Gino to a what is it called, when you, a potluck party. But before that, we find out what happened between them when he stayed the night at her apartment. He did have the cojones, so to speak, to go and say, I want to get off the couch and in the bed with you. And she allowed him to do that. She said she was kind of shocked that he had, again, the cojones to do that. And they just cuddled and held each other and nothing else happened. But he said he enjoyed having that time with her. And most guys don't really say that. Honestly, they don't. For him to get a second chance with her, I think that he's really happy that he's getting that opportunity again. And like I said, most guys aren't going to be like, oh, cuddling, that was nice. I feel like he has to care about her to a degree. And he didn't seem like he wanted to cuddle too much with Jasmine. And we know that she was a headache. So when they wake up, he's like, can you rub this lotion on my back? I don't know if he's just trying to set up moments for her to touch him or something. He's like, my skin is dry. Could you rub this on my back? Like, they're just trying to set up these weird, touchy-feely moments. She had a little spa moment with him before. So I don't know what they're trying to do. But she says she doesn't know if there's going to be anything more, because he still has to prove himself. But she's you let him in your bed. I know it's just for cuddles, but still. She's acting hesitant, but I don't think she's that hesitant. But she's telling us that Gino has swag. That's news to me. So he brings this potluck meal. It's a ham and cheese mess. I thought when he was going to do these ham and cheese sandwiches, that he was going to like toast them, put them in a toaster oven, grill them. He's going to take the meat and cheese out and then cook it and put it back in the bread. That was really weird. And Natalie agrees. So some of the people that are her friends kind of talk with him. And one of the ladies, she's just not feeling him. He revealed that there's other women are talking to him online. And he's talking back and forth to them, but he's never met them. I first got the impression that it was just, he's just conversing with them. But the way he was talking about is like, he's kind of open to entertaining some things. Not that he's really into anything, but to entertain the idea. When he's talking with these women, he's kind of open. So her friend lets Natalie know, that's kind of what they talked about. And she really doesn't like Gino. She says, after Natalie says he did get in the bed with her, she's like, well, okay, I can see that he does like you, but I don't know how serious he is about you. And she just don't like him. And the impression he gave, I understand why she didn't. And when it comes to Sophie, Julie, and Liz, because of Pedro's little messy situation that he set up, they're kind of getting into it, and Liz is being blamed for the he said, she said conversation that he had with her, trying to say that Sophie wasn't ready, she doesn't deserve all these good things he's doing for her, and there could be another guy. And she said none of those things. He misinterpreted what she said and added some stuff on top. So it was like, okay, there was a miscommunication issue, because she said be careful, but she meant be careful of my friend, not just be careful, beware, because she's a mess. So he took things the wrong way, the other way, and added his own 2 cents to that. I don't know if they know that Liz is going through her cancer battle, if she's keeping that on the low, but we'll talk more about that in a moment, because Pedro is basically ghosting Sophie and just taking a step back, like really far back, and Sophie's feeling really weird about it. And at the time, he's now hanging out, talking to his sister. He meets up with her, and she's very protective of him. She's giving him advice. And he's taking from his past with Chantel that he believes his partner needs to get along with his family. That's one of his litmus tests for future partners. And for some families, that's a yay. And for some families, that's a nay. It depends on if your family's messy and likes to start trouble. But this is what he feels the person needs to do, and I don't blame him. It depends on your family dynamic. He explains that Sophie's kind of distant, and he's like, well, if you needed to heal from your past relationship, why did you come to me? As if I'm some type of healer. I'm doing all these things, sending her flowers twice a month. And the sister's like, you know what? The sister's kind of messy. We know that if you guys have seen The House of Chantel, and you know their whole past relationship, 90 Day fans. But she basically says Sophie doesn't really appreciate this. She doesn't really deserve it. You know, he says she's 26. And she's like, yeah, she's not a woman. She's acting like a girl. And she sounds confused. And she says confused people hurt people. And I get that, because I do believe that if you're confused, just like the guy that's kind of messing with Vanya a bit, but she's kind of pushing herself on him. If you're confused about that person, or let's say you need to assess for a long period of time, I don't think you guys really have the spark. Doesn't mean it can't turn into anything, but it doesn't mean that person can't come out of their confusion. But a person could use that confused argument only for so long, and then they're just wasting your time. And you gotta know that. So Liz and Via, day 2, they go out again. Looks like they're trying to spend every day together. I know it's only day 2, but you know, sometimes you regroup and hang with the girls the next day. But no, this is day 2 and they're hanging out again. They did surfing lessons before. Now they're doing kayaking. You know, he's like, do you know what you're doing? Because it looked like she did it first and then she got kind of stuck. She says she really enjoys going out with him. It's only been the second date, but he kind of focuses on what she wants, and it feels good, because other relationships, the man kind of led on what he wanted and wasn't paying much attention to what she wanted. She said she's always been dominant and not able to be feminine in relationships that she's been in. He's chivalrous and he takes charge, and she likes his feeling. She feels safe and comfortable. And after getting sick, she needs this type of man, because her previous relationship, the guy kind of left her to her own devices and was not, you know, caring and nurturing. And he's kind of giving her these vibes that she needs. They share a couple of kisses, and she says she's really falling for him. He doesn't know about her situation with cancer and surviving that and healing from that. And she said he may run. She also questions, is she worth it, because she's sick? And I don't know if I told you guys before, and I may have been planning episode, but I don't know if I ever got into it, but I may have talked about it. I'm a cancer survivor, and I was in a dating scenario and situation after cancer. And it was difficult for me to share that information. My body had changed, different things had happened. And for her, she's still going through her battle. I'm not sure how her body's changed. She may have had another type of cancer that she's dealing with. But it can be difficult. And just the fact that you're sick, and she hasn't told him yet, and maybe she'll tell him in the next episode, but the fact that you're sick, some people just run away from the fact that you have an illness. They don't know how to deal with it. They're not really up for supporting you in that way. I was talking to someone, you know, post, and it had been years as a survivor, and you know, they were just concerned that this cancer may come back, and you know, and I thought it was, you know, kind that they cared, but then also I felt like it was an element of fear, which I could understand if you care about someone, but then also I thought it was an element of fear. It can be because, hey, you know, the possibilities of the fear, is it because you really care about me, you don't want anything to happen to me, or is it because you'll be locked into this relationship and now you're going to have to take care of me and look after me, and you just don't want that type of burden. So it could go either way, because sometimes you think people are concerned for you, but they're concerned for them and what they want in their future. And maybe there's some level of concern, but they're not trying to take that on. So I understand on some level, on a lot of levels, of how she's feeling. when it comes to this scenario. And even though at this time, I think it's a little bit harder for her because she's in the middle of her sickness and her challenges. And when you're post your illness, or if you're someone that's been living with it for a while and you've been dealing with it, depending on what your illness is, then it's a little bit different because you know how to navigate. People see how you navigate, and they may be a little more comfortable with entering a relationship knowing that you're used to things. But if it's some unknowns that may come up if you're in the middle of your illness, then sometimes that scares people away as well. But I feel like in a way it's a sad thing, but in a way it's very telling. And it kind of shows you, it kind of separates the men from the boys in a way. And not to judge anyone, because everyone can't take on an illness and everyone may not feel ready to do so. And, you know, when you get in a relationship, a lot of times you're thinking, hey, I can't wait to have all this fun time with you, do all these amazing things with you and enjoy you and all of that. And that's what you expect. You don't want to feel the challenges. You don't want to feel the stress. You don't want to feel the grief. But all relationships are going to have challenges, stress, and grief. That's just life generally. You just have this thing right in your face that you know is something you're going to have to deal with. You know it's a big thing. So it's kind of, if you are on that level of, hey, I want a long-term relationship, I possibly want marriage till death do us part, it's really telling if you're in the middle of something. And it's not always illnesses. It could just be you're having some financial issues, you're struggling with your job, you're struggling with employment, this or that. It could be a lot of different scenarios that seem big for people, and they're just like, you know, it shows you if you're in the middle of something and someone comes along. And I'm not trying to say, you know, grab up people when you're struggling, because some people say, you know, if don't have a job, why are you even trying to be with somebody? So somebody might even say that if you're sick, then why are you trying to be in a relationship? You should try to focus on getting well. You know, a lot of times it's not like you're seeking that. It's just sometimes life happens. The same thing if you're kind of young and people are like, oh, you're not ready for love, but this person comes into your life and it feels like the love of your life. Are you going to pass it up because you're too young? I think you should take on that experience. Are you going to pass up a good possible relationship just because you're going through an illness right now? I don't think you should do that. But I do think, and I hopefully soon she'll talk to him. But like for me, even at post-illness, I didn't tell people right away about the different things that I went through, the changes in my body. I didn't feel that I felt that was very intimate, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. And if I'm not going to go to that intimate level with you, I'm not going to tell you these intimate things. I don't think everybody deserves that information. I feel like for her to tell Via that, it's a bit too soon. Now, does she think she's going to sleep with him? Does she think things are going to move faster in that direction? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to affect him if he sleeps with her. But that is going to build a bond. And then for her not to tell him before that probably would be something a bit devastating for him. And he may feel like he's been kind of fooled a bit. So she definitely, if she feels things are going that serious, that fast, she should tell him. I would say you should slow down and try to protect your heart as well. But as a Christian and a woman of faith, that's my lifestyle anyway, is to take my time and also put up front what my intentions and desires are when it comes to relationship. Because some people want to fling, some people want fun. They don't want to deal with your struggles and your challenges. So I think it's important that she tells him if she feels led to, if she feels like, and it's going to be really telling as far as the type of man he is, if he's going to continue. Again, I'm not saying an indictment on all men. Some men may need to step back, but it's how you step back. It's not that you step back, but you respectfully do so when you talk to the woman. You don't ghost her, you're not mean to her and all of that. She's already dealing with a lot. So if you are the guy that needs to step back, do it in a way where you try to protect this person's heart. Same thing with women. Women do the same thing. If it's a guy that's going through something, she may want to step back. And if he's going through a hard time, you got to just do it in a certain way. If you're not able to handle it, I don't blame you. I say it's better for you to leave than to try to work with something that you can't work with, and you're going to break the person's heart anyway at the end of the day. Just do it sooner than later and be kind about it. But I'm hoping this works for you, Liz. I think you need some more time. I think you need some more healing time, emotionally, physically. Everything you went through with Big Ed in your last relationship, it's kind of been a lot. And when you're going through an illness, you really should do your best to, protect yourself and protect your heart, because all those factors can play a part in your healing and in your body, in your recovery. So that's my thoughts on this single life episode. It was a very important episode to me. This is a very important topic. Sending love to Liz. As far as I know, she may be in remission is what I hear, but this was taped previously. But I wish the best for her going forward, and all those dealing with cancer and cancer survivors, along with navigating love. Alright guys, thoughts, comments, questions, email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. We'll talk again. Check us out on our other platforms at cbiztvmedia.com. All the best and God bless.